Shake it loose. Everybody's got a story to tell. Well, I got a story about my time in hell.
So Simon, where did you find this car? I mean, what's the story behind it?
Yeah, I was building a hot rod, a 33 Dodge, which was taking so long. And this car came up on the internet. A friend of a friend was selling it. And it was a stopgap car to fill the gap between finishing my 33 and having something to drive in the meantime. And it's become my favorite car. You know, the 33 was a great idea when I was younger. I was newly married, no kids. Now with kids, noisy cars and 2 seats wasn't such a great idea, whereas this now is the family car. So I get to be able to drive the kids around. The kids love it. It's a bit like sailing. You've got to sort of prepare yourself. You've got to send a telegram to the brakes to let them know you're coming. Things like that. It's quite cool, and you know, people get out of your way because it's such a nice big car. And it's quite noisy, as you might be able to hear. And it lets people know you're coming.
Yes, a shout and a scratch and a scream and a ram. Well, it wasn't easy getting from the devil, man. Well, many women came my way and didn't last. I was living on the edge and only having a blast. I found myself in the gutter again, my only home.
Basically what I've done, I've taken a 1949 shoebox slab side, custom deluxe, which has now been modified or modernized as it would have been done in the 50s. So if you take a black and white photo of this car and put it against a black and white photograph of a car from the 50s or maybe early 60s, this would fit in perfectly. It would have been exactly what they would have done. The legs pipes, the way it's been lowered at the back to give it a bit of an arse drag. And yeah, just that whole 50s retro style. See by the glasses, it's sort of me, you know, it fits me when men were gentlemen and they looked after their ladies and they had something to be proud of, you know, after the Second World War. Basically the car is as I found it, except for the go fast part. The engine, I've done a little bit of modification on the engine. Yes, second gear. I've modified the engine. I've put Edelbrock flatheads, finned Edelbrock heads, an Offenhauser twin intake with 294 Edelbrock carbs, Lakes pipes, nice oil pressure, fuel pump, things like that, you know. So it's as it was, except it's made go faster. And the things that I used to make it go faster are the same things again, which would have been used in the 50s to make their cars go faster. You know, as they were developing the products for the cars on the salt flats, they were filtering down to the guys on the streets, on the weekend warriors, with their go fast cars. That, you know, they'd pull up to the lights or go to the drive-in and have a few drags, and that's sort of where that ethic of that age is sort of where I went from. So I've tried to stick to that 50s, early 50s salt flat drag style, and it's, you know, again, it's just sort of, for me, it fits, it feels nice, and I think it looks good. I think it's something else. You know, everybody asks me when I'm going to paint it, why? It works. Everything's here. It goes a bit faster than it should. The interior I've replaced because that was pretty trashed, but the outside, so what? You know, it's not a work of art. It's a utility, and because it's a utility, I use it. I don't expect to put it in a museum and make it pretty and put it on a trailer and never drive again. It's a driving car. It's not a show car. And because I drive it, basically, I'm not worried if it gets scratched or dented or anybody has a go at it with a key. I really don't care. It might just add to the character.
You're crashing all around, acting like a maniac. Whiplash.
Where did it all start for you? I mean, like, what was your first project?
Jimmy Shine, I saw a show probably 20 years ago maybe, where Jimmy Shine had built a car, very rough, very ready, and it spoke to me. And I kind of saw that and I thought, I want something like that look, that style, that rough and ready. And I kind of put the word out on the street, and I've spoke to a few people, and a friend of a friend who knew a friend who had somebody else that had a friend with a farm, found one on the farm, and they bought the car to me. It was a 1933 Dodge 5-door Phaeton style car, and it was pretty trashed. It was on a farm. It had been cut up. They'd taken the back off and converted it into a 2-door. It was a complete mess. The engine was, it's great, it's now boat anchor. The rest of it was it was a mess. So the first couple of guys that helped me build it, I had it for quite a long while, and just nothing really happened. They were busy with other projects, and I get that, you know, you start doing something and you get busy and you can't help everybody. So I kind of pulled it away from there, took it to another shop after that, where it ended up at Old Mill with Simon Hartman. And we had the same ethic, we had the same kind of ideas, basic ideas of what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. And we built the car together. He did all the work, I just have the ideas, and he would often tell me, no, that's a stupid idea, which I listened to him, luckily, and it came out really well. And I think that car will be one of the iconic cars of South African hot rodding, I think, of the modern age. One of the first decent rat rods that was drivable. There was a few others that were just death traps and really scary to drive, whereas that one, you could drive it. The guys that had it up West Coast on a closed road, of course, they had it over 200 k's an hour, which in a home-built car, that's pretty cool. Scary as all hell, and I wasn't driving, so that was actually not so bad.
Well, show it through the metal guard, it's time to hit the road.
So Simon, what's the story behind the whole Holy Roller on the back of the car?
The Holy Roller became my nickname probably about 15, 20 years ago. I've skateboarded my whole life. I've raced downhill, street luge, classic luge, and all sorts of different sports things, and it just, the moniker fitted. I ended up studying and getting a qualification as a reverend, and the holy part came from that, and the Holy Roller it just became my nickname. They called me the Reverend, and then they were the Holy Roller because I was rolling on skateboards or rollerblades as well at one stage. And yeah, it's just sort of stuck, and this car seemed to fit that retro sort of style. I kind of felt that it worked, so I kept it. A lot of nicknames people gave me, I kind of avoid, try and stay away from them and keep them secret from anybody else that's part of my life.
I was running from the devils in me.